Kidney Plugged In for 2024. Join us as we take a walk down memory lane and look back at some of the memorable highlights from our 2022 episodes. So stay right there because the year in review is coming up next, right here on Kidney Plugged In. In January, we welcome back two very special guests, Patricia Crowley and her daughter, Charlotte. Patricia and Charlotte shared the story of a family legacy that had laid dormant for over 50 years until a series of serendipitous circumstances led to the rediscovery of a treasure trove of documentation from 1967 that revealed the origins of the BC and Yukon branch of the Kidney Foundation.
Well, I have a box full of information. She's been hauling around this file box for 60 years.
Good 60 years.
She opens up the box. It's full of documents from those days. Letters, newspaper clippings, notes that she'd made, diaries that she made about how she felt during those days. It was like a treasure trove. And so in April, after the class, one of the people that had come, who happens to be my neighbor across the road, he comes over and he says, "Hey, my father was involved in the original kidney transplant team in Vancouver in the early days." And it's like, wow, that is cool. His father is Dr. Ralph Christensen. And he contacts his dad and says, "Hey, my neighbor, here's the story." He comes back and he says, "Well, myself and Dr. Maloney did your dad's transplant." And then I'm like, oh my goodness. What it took for the universe to pull us together. I could just see the universe going, oh, for heaven's sakes, we got you this close. Let us get you together.
And I was totally sort of mad. I don't know, just I haven't got a word for it.
Since we opened up that box, my mom has really gone down memory lane.
And Kate Chong, Director of Patient Services at the BC Yukon branch, hosted a Did You Know segment talking about the wide variety of programs and services provided by the BC Yukon branch in support of kidney patients and their caregivers.
I'm Kate Chong, Manager of Patient Services for the Kidney Foundation, and this is Did You Know? Did you know that many people are unaware of the programs and services designed to support kidney patients and their caregivers here in British Columbia?
And in February, we celebrated the flavors of the Lunar New Year with a kidney-friendly twist on 4 delicious dishes. As we followed Come Cook With Us chefs Danny, Anya, and Tanya around the kitchen as they prepared sweet red bean soup, shrimp stuffed green peppers, long life noodles, and braised fish. So check out this delicious segment.
And the zest that's creating a lot of flavor. And so that's how you can build flavor into the foods that you're eating, like zesting lemon or zesting citrus.
The more lucky your pepper, it's more rounded, you put more happiness inside of your sweet pepper. And so, so this is actually something that's really simple to make. A lot of times you would actually buy fish paste at your local Asian grocery store, but then just with a few ingredients, I'm going to show you how to make it on your own. Be upset with me that I used a food processor. But traditionally you're supposed to kind of chop it, and it's going to turn into a bit of a paste. And then I've added some aromatic sesame oil, so this is super flavorful, and you don't need a lot, but it's delicious. And there's no salt to this, thicker. So after you have the fish side or the shrimp side down kind of until it's golden brown, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes.
And in March, we celebrated Kidney Health Month with a kidney quiz that tested your kidney IQ. And later in March, we introduced you to kidney patient David McKay from West Kelowna. David was diagnosed with kidney disease in his 20s, but it wasn't until his mid-50s that his kidneys began to fail. David joined us on the show to talk about his journey and to share some of the lessons that he's learned along the way in hopes of trying to help others who may be traveling on a similar journey with kidney disease.
I guess at the age of 26, I should still be close to full function. And 90 would be a fairly substantial drop for somebody that was my age. So that's when I was first kind of aware of it. And then I really didn't think too much of it for many years to follow. And as time went on, the doctors were bringing it to my awareness that my kidney function was slowly dropping. And as I got into my 50s, I was down to around 50%. And so I knew with the doctor's warnings that things were definitely progressing. And they kept referring to a thing called IgA nephropathy. And that they would, based on the amount of urine or blood that was in my urinary tract and so on and so forth, they're assuming and making the diagnosis that I have IgA nephropathy. But I wasn't quite ready to give up my normal lifestyle and job. And because, there's a lot of financial burden that comes down when you have to change a job that you've been doing for 11 or 12 years. Started with that fistula that I had put in my arm. So my forearm has this artery that is quite a bit larger now than the normal vein that ran through. And sometimes even because of that, I get a little bit of a numb hand because they've rerouted the blood vessel, the artery, the main artery that feeds my hand, one of them, and it's been rerouted to this vein. So that's kind of where it starts. You start to realize this is very real now, and you are going to be doing dialysis soon because they've had this operation done, and you had to go to the hospital and be prepped for that, and then they operated, and then you see the fistula kind of growing. That vein starts to get larger than the normal one, and it's not the most attractive looking thing, but it's there for a reason.
And April 7th marked the 5th anniversary of Green Shirt Day. And to celebrate the 5th year of the Green Shirt Day, they introduced a new t-shirt design created by graphic artist Brandy Henn. Brandy is a 2 separate organ transplant recipient who received both a liver and kidney transplants. And Brandy joined us on Plugged In to talk about the labor of love that was involved in creating this new t-shirt design and to share her personal story of her journey as a 2-time transplant recipient.
Next level emotion, it's just a very an intense situation. So, what they have continued to do for us is really give us a voice as recipients and people waiting on the donor list or waiting for a kidney, liver, whatever it might be. They really just shone a light kind of in this dark little corner, just with them telling their story. So that has always moved me.
April 16th to the 22nd was National Volunteer Week. So what better time to celebrate and highlight our kidney foundations than during National Volunteer Week? And Plugged In caught up with dozens of volunteers that came into the BC branch office and packed up thousands of pairs of socks for in-person distribution to kidney care clinics and dialysis units across BC and the Yukon.
In BC, in limited places in the past few years, and it's about distributing socks to kidney patients through the kidney care clinics this year. 5,000 socks going out to different locations in BC. We're pretty excited about that. And these lovely ladies are helping us put those socks together, and what they're doing is they're putting the sock together with the keeper card that gives them information about the Kidney Foundation and different things that they can get involved with, and then we're sending them off to the clinics, and we're pretty excited about it.
Each one of these pairs of socks represent a person in dialysis, so they're handled and packed with care.
So we're noticing on the boxes there's a lot of names of different places from Victoria all the way to Prince George.
Yes, absolutely. And everywhere in between, like wherever there's a kidney care clinic, we're hoping to send out some socks to them. I don't know that we have enough for all patients across the board, but we have 5,000 socks that we're distributing out, so we're pretty excited about that.
And did you know that May 7th to the 13th is National Emergency Preparedness Week? Being prepared in the event of a disaster is important for everyone, but especially for dialysis patients. And we highlighted a video by BC Renal that highlights a number of important resources to help dialysis patients be prepared in the event of an emergency.
See preparedness section of BC Renal's website for easy to understand information, and see the homepage at bcrenal.ca for a link. Have a look at the new downloadable illustrations that show you emergency kit essentials. And with summer just around the corner, check out this poster for staying safely hydrated in hot weather. There's also a comprehensive booklet for dialysis patients that contains many helpful tools and resources, and it's available in English, Chinese, and Punjabi. Be prepared to respond with an emergency plan if your life or the lives of those you care about are threatened.
And then Plugged In was pleased to bring you highlights from the Kidney Foundation webinar on how wellness and lifestyle impact your kidney health. Co-hosts of this webinar were nephrologist Dr. Mike Bevilacqua and Dr. Megan Borkham, who discussed the importance of physical activity and exercise for kidney patients and the importance of planning, goal setting, and staying motivated.
Parts of our kidney condition or other illnesses, we're going to want a specific plan to intervene on one of these. I also want to put out here that as you're doing this, do seek resources for this. You're not alone, right? Sometimes a lot of these symptoms, and especially as you kind of go down into that worsening spiral of some of them, it can seem quite isolating. It can seem like you're alone, or it can seem like you're the only one dealing with these. But this is not the case. Having that support of people around you helps to implement these plans. It also helps as you're going through a plan to have other people around you to both help and kind of coach you through this. I love this term of what we call an accountability partner, as you're going through plans.
Which is exercise in the context of kidney disease. I'm going to use the term physical activity and exercise interchangeably, but exercise is just planned physical activity. And I think we need to remember that exercise is applicable at any stage of your kidney journey, all the way from pre-dialysis to whatever modality of dialysis you choose, and to transplant. There are benefits all across the way.
And in June, we shared a heartwarming story about living kidney donor and food truck owner extraordinaire, Scully White, who donated a kidney to his hot dog customer, Tim. Scully sat down with Plugged In at the Living Donor Circle of Excellence event, where Scully shared with us his remarkable story as a living kidney donor. And he even had an offer for all the viewers. If you become a living donor, you can get free hot dogs for life.
After seeing what Tim went through being on dialysis, which is garbage, it's awful for any human being to go through that, we decided to find local people that needed a kidney. And we got a list of 11 people, and we're about to cross off number 3 on the list that we found a kidney for.
We started a campaign, and the media took the story and it kind of went crazy. And before I donated, I was getting calls every day from all over the country and hearing some horrific stories about people, like a mom in Newfoundland whose husband just died. One kid needed a kidney, the other one needed a heart transplant. She had no coverage. She was working in the petroleum industry, and she needed help. She had no social media skills. So what we ended up doing, or what at my business we ended up doing, is we found 11 local people in the Fraser Valley who needed kidney transplants, and in the next few days we're going to have the 3rd one knocked off the list that we found people willing to donate and step forward.
And we'll just keep plugging away, and I'll keep telling the story and keep telling people how easy it is to do this, and why not? Help somebody out. If the shoes were changed, wouldn't you want somebody to help you? So why not do it?
You're like the poster guy for a living donation.
I always live a good life, and my life has only gone higher and higher. Like, there's no slowing down. There's no, I can't do that because I donated a kidney. No, life has been just a gas, and I continue to live it to the fullest with 0 speed bumps.
On June 21st, Canada celebrates National Indigenous Peoples Day. And in commemoration of this important day, we brought you 2 very special interviews. Monica Goulet from the Cree Nation in Saskatchewan shared her inspiring story from CKD diagnosis to kidney transplant recipient after she received a kidney from her nephew Jim, her living kidney donor.
At the age of 24, I had one of my kidneys removed. Later on in 2011, I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease, which progressed to end-stage renal failure. I thought I was going to pass. And then, fortunately for me, I get to be here with you today because my nephew, Jimmy Searson, donated a kidney to me so that I could have a second chance at life.
And BC Grand Chief Stuart Phillip and his wife Joan joined us on Plugged In to share their story of Chief Stuart Phillip's journey with kidney disease.
Perform at the level that you're accustomed to most of your working life. These are extraordinary times with extraordinary demands on the workforce. And when you're compromised by chronic kidney disease and being in a state of fatigue constantly and finding yourself dozing off and wanting to nap and just not available not only to your colleagues, but in my case, my grandchildren.
Then the BC Yukon branch hosted its first inaugural Tee Up for Transplant Golf Tournament at the Okanagan Golf Course. NHL goalie sensation and kidney transplant recipient David Ayers was on hand to support this charity golf tournament, which raised funds to support life-saving research and patient services.
You have so many people that come up to you and ask you different questions on how you maintained your diet, what you did for protection after your transplant was over or during dialysis. There's a lot of people that at times get kind of down on being involved in transplants, whether they need one or even donors. Sometimes they're scared what the outcome may be. And I always like to sit there and talk to them and reassure them that, just because you've had a kidney transplant doesn't mean that's the end of being active or being able to do the things that you want to do or having goals and setting goals for yourself. This is just an obstacle that you have to deal with in life. You've got many different doctors and nurses and therapists and medications that allow you to do everything you've wanted to do and more. It's just an obstacle in your life that you have to overcome. I choose to embrace the challenge of having a kidney transplant and going through everything I went through. And I just kind of forced myself to keep going, never quit, and just enjoy the process as much as you can enjoy it.
And we started off August with a splash at Kidney and Transplant Camp that was back in person after a 3-year hiatus. Plugged In visited Camp Latona to get an up-close and personal view of what a day in the life of kidney campers was all about. Check out this action. And then we introduced you to a special young man, an amateur magician, Jack Schwartz, who raised money for vulnerable kidney patients in BC and the Yukon by putting on a magic show.
Stepmom, Sarah, she gave me the idea of doing magic shows since I'm a magician. So I ended up doing 2 close-up magic shows, and I sold tickets to the show. My dad helped me create a website, and we had about 10 people there.
Check out Jack's magical performance. Here's Jack.
Now introducing our first trick by Jack Schwartz.
To start off, I want to show you something pretty funny. I've got a couple of cards. They're red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many are there?
5.
What are the backs?
Red.
You see, the faces are blank. Let me ask you something. What color on the face is at the bottom?
White.
That's what they all said, but I said, no, that's an ace of spades.
Oh my God.
I said, what are the rest of the cards? They all say blank. But you see, that's when I can actually produce a full hand of a royal flush. But what color were the backs again?
Red.
No, they're blue.
And in September, we celebrated National Living Donation Week by welcoming to the show one of BC's eldest altruistic living donors, Diana Dunlop. At 77 years young, Diana donated her kidney anonymously to a kidney patient in need of a transplant.
I ended up in Armstrong, and I must have heard something on the radio or read something in the paper about people needing donors. And I don't know, I thought, well, why not?
Amazing. So fast forward, a number of years, you hear something that cues your mind of something that you had asked a number of years ago. And
Yes.
so it made you want to reach out again. And what was that process like? How did you go about it? And how long did that take you to go through that new process once you were re-inquired?
2 years.
And in October, we brought you highlights from the second annual Starry Night Gala, which was back in person after a 3-year hiatus. The Starry Night Gala theme this year was Under the Big Top, and the event raised funds to increase awareness of organ donation, kidney disease, and risk factors in the South Asian community.
I was diagnosed with kidney disease, and for someone who's always been active, the news was very difficult for me to digest. I had to face the reality of kidney disease and the challenges that it brought. Last year, I found myself facing the reality of dialysis, a treatment that became part of my daily life. It was physically and emotionally difficult.
One of the most remarkable aspects of our journey has been the support that we've received from this community. Social media, family, friends, and of course this amazing foundation.
Tonight, as we come together to support the Kidney Foundation, let us remember the importance of community and connections. Let us continue to raise awareness and advocate for kidney health.
And then we introduced you to Joshi Reddy and her family. Completely unaware of how disproportionately kidney disease impacts the South Asian community until their dad was diagnosed with kidney disease in December of 2022, Joshi and the family joined us on Plugged In to talk about how they've overcome challenges and deal with the daily struggles of living with kidney disease.
In December. So we knew at Christmas time it was the worst
Just before Christmas.
Just before Christmas. It was the worst Christmas. We all love my dad. We just want my dad to get better and, to get a transplant. And that will be the biggest gift that God can give. If we could just get an angel to get my dad, the gift of life.
And in November, Plugged In was at the Living Donor Circle of Excellence reception that celebrated nearly 125,000 employees from BC-based Living Donor Circle of Excellent member companies that will cover wage losses should any of their employees wish to become a living donor. Plugged In was there to capture all of the action and to talk to some of the special guests as they joined us on the welcome carpet.
So in this room are leaders in our business community who've really taken the step to remove that financial barrier so people can donate. So I'm really excited to celebrate the leadership of those business leaders here tonight. We're also obviously here to honor the most important thing. I always say, it's really great that I'm a transplant doctor, but without a donor, there is no transplant. So this really is a night about the donors.
This coming January will be 15 years with my gift of life. I received it from an angel donor. So this event is inspiring to see how many people are stepping forward to donate the gift of life, and helping others is amazing. Share your spare.
I donated a kidney 13 years ago, and I'm healthy, have a very busy job, and I think it's something that people can do. You can live really a healthy life with one kidney, and it's such a good thing to do. So I encourage people to look into it.
I work for Astellas Pharma Canada that provides support for transplant patients across Canada in the pharmaceutical area. I was able to get Astellas to be one of the Living Donor Circle of Excellence companies. So I'm here supporting the organization, representing Astellas, and really proud to be involved in kidney transplantation and longtime supporters of the Kidney Foundation in Canada as well.
I'm thrilled with this initiative because I really do think it does make a difference. There are people who are willing to do it, yet work and finances are an issue, and the support that we can get for this and rallying behind this, I think it's fantastic, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight.
I'm pretty excited to see how everything works here with Circle of Excellence and what businesses are involved, so thanks for having us.
I want the employers in this room that have come here, who've made policy, to know that you are leading the way by breaking down barriers, and it is important. You are setting an example, and we can't thank you enough. We want the folks that did come to come up to the front and be acknowledged and receive a prize. Thank you, folks, for your incredible leadership and for being here tonight.
And in December, we celebrated the holiday season with a very special holiday episode of Kidney Plugged In. Opening the show was Glenn Powers, the president of the BC Newcom branch of the board of directors, who shared a holiday message to all Plugged In viewers.
If you or someone you care about has kidney disease, I want you to know that our organization is here for you. Meet us at the Kidney Wellness Hub, or you can connect with us on Facebook.
And then, since the holiday season is a time of giving, and there's no greater gift than the gift of life, on this episode, we introduced you to Betty from Penticton, who was a living donor through the Paired Exchange Program.
I knew I could survive with one kidney and lead a life like I always have, and that has proven to be true. That was the sole motivation for that, was just to see if I could do this for somebody else and flip their switch in their house, and then it was worth it. It was worth every bit of it.
And then we visited Joshy and the Reddy family as they shared with us some of their holiday traditions, because celebrating the holidays as a family unit now has special meaning to this family as they come together to help their father, who is currently on nocturnal dialysis.
Hi, I'm Joshy. Happy holidays. Welcome to our home. Come on in, and we'd love to show you how we decorate for the holidays.
And Happy New Year to all Plugged In viewers, and stay tuned because we've got some great episodes coming up for you in 2024.